dan sampingnya juga ada pemain timnas wanita senior Sabrina Drexler. Sabrina juga baru bawa DKI lolos ke PON tahun terakhir. Nah, nggak berlama-lama, saya cuma mengantar bahwa kehadiran dua orang ini adalah inisiatif Pak Erick sendiri sebagai ketua panitia.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Seperti yang selalu kita dorong, bahwa kita terus mengapresiasi para legenda sepak bola. Apakah yang kemarin waktu saya pertemukan dengan tim U17 kita, ataupun hari ini tentunya, apalagi kedua figur di sebelah saya ini juga punya darah Indonesia gitu. Jadi ini sebuah kebanggaan buat kita semua, kita bisa menghadirkan para legenda ini. Dan tentu tidak lain kehadiran mereka ini untuk kembali bagaimana mereka bisa menjadi tadi membantu promo daripada U17 World Cup, tetapi yang terpenting juga membuat inspirasi kepada anak-anak muda Indonesia bahwa kita ada, ya, kalau kita mau. Dan disitulah yang saya berharap nanti para figur yang hadir ini, baik Raja, baik untuk Sabrina, bisa terus memberikan bagaimana perjalanan hidup mereka untuk menjadi yang terbaik. Nah, ini yang kita harapkan, bagaimana figur-figur seperti mereka hadir hari ini. Dan saya tentu senang sekali para media juga hadir hari ini untuk terus mendorong, ya, jangan sampai U17 ini sekedar event, ya, ini event besar buat Indonesia, dan ini event pertama. Presiden FIFA pun hadir tanggal 10, tidak hanya di pembukaan tapi juga di penutupan, artinya sesuatu yang dihormati. Dan insya Allah, ya, Bapak Presiden dan Presiden FIFA juga akan bertemu di istana tanggal 10 pagi hari untuk bicara sepak bola Indonesia ke depannya, ya, supaya kita ada yang namanya transformasi sepak bola. Dan pada kesempatan ini saya minta media, ayo silakan tanya, ya, tetapi intinya Raja kesini fokus untuk bantu Indonesia. Gitu dulu. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Pak. Mungkin sebelum saya lempar ke teman-teman media, mungkin Raja, you want to say something? You want to greet the Indonesian media?
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. For me, it's a pleasure to be an ambassador for the World Cup U17. I would like to thank Mr. Kohira for being here. So it's a pleasure to come always to my roots, and yeah, let's hope we all can enjoy, and we hope that Indonesia will have a good result at this World Cup.
Thanks Raja. So buat teman-teman media mungkin udah tahu ya, Raja ini dulu sempat jadi lama di KBRI, sebelum dia ke Roma, ke Inter Milan, and world record di Spal, Italy. Kemudian ada Sabrina. So Sabrina, you want to say hi to the media?
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you, Pat McCarthy, for having me, as well as Bob Marshall for having me, giving me this opportunity to not only inspire women as well as kind of promote the U17 World Cup. And yeah, hopefully from this we can learn and grow more for football, for Indonesia, for men's and women's as well. Thank you.
Thanks Sabrina. So atas undangan Pak Erick Thohir, mereka berdua akan hadir di Surabaya untuk opening match Indonesia versus Ecuador, yang dimana juga sebelumnya akan ada opening ceremony. Kalau itu saya buka pertanyaan buat teman-teman media, mungkin dari
Fokus U17 ya.
Ya, Pak, silakan.
Selamat sore, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Nia dari Radio Republik Indonesia. Mungkin yang pertama pertanyaan untuk Pak Erick, apa yang menjadi alasan dipilihnya kedua tokoh ini, Sabrina dan juga Raja, untuk jadi bagian dari tim yang mempromosikan atau dalam hal ini ambassador gitu, karena Raja juga pernah gabung di Inter Milan begitu. My second question is for you, Raja. It's really nice to see you in here. I want to know what is the main reason why behind your decision why you want to join PSSI to promote Indonesian under 17 World Cup in Indonesia in here, and maybe you can share your thought with us, with Indonesian people. What is the most important thing that people have to give to support the Indonesian national team, especially this young player who will play in the world stage? Thank you.
That's one question.
That's good actually.
Please. Yes. No, okay. For me, being here is like, you know, for me, Indonesia will always represent me, even if I have not the culture with me, but there's always time to learn about. And it's always important. I had the possibility to come, and I didn't hesitate. I just say, okay, I will go. And at the meantime, yeah, okay, I'm meeting people. It's always important in life to meet new people, and even aside from where I don't know a lot. And that's why I'm discovering even Indonesia, because for me it's like the second time I'm here, and it's like a new entry in my life. And representing the U17, okay, I was young as well. I think for every young player it's a dream to play or represent their own country, and I did it as well as a young player. I did it as a senior player, and I hope that this will be something special for all those young players, not only for the Indonesian players, but even for the other teams, other countries that bring their teams over here. And yeah, what can I say? It's even important for Indonesia. I know they were struggling a lot of time back. They were struggling a little bit, and now having this opportunity to represent the World Cup, I think brings it on the scale, and it can tell us a lot more about Indonesia worldwide. So I think this opportunity is really important for Indonesian football. No, I had the possibility to play for Indonesia because I was contacted by them, but I already played my first game for Belgium at a young age, so it was impossible to represent Indonesia.
Iya, yang seperti saya sampaikan bahwa kembali dalam mempromosikan U17 juga saya ingin ada tidak hanya legend tetapi juga ada keterkaitan ya dengan Indonesia gitu. Apalagi juga tadi saya sudah sampaikan kedua figur ini pasti juga bisa sharing yang bagaimana mereka up and downs dalam membangun karirnya. Dan ini yang nanti saya minta Pak Marshall. Jadi waktu kita promo itu bukan just promo U17, tapi kita promo mengenai kehidupan daripada para pemain sepak bola yang bagaimana membina karir dari muda dan apa kesulitan mereka. Ini jadi saya ingin mencoba sesuatu yang berbeda gitu, ya. Dan saya berharap juga ini juga menjadi dorongan untuk para pemain muda Indonesia yang kita bisa siapkan terus-menerus. Apalagi kita tahu FIFA sendiri akan mendorong yang namanya kejuaraan dunia U17 itu bukan tidak mungkin per tahun nanti mulai tahun 2026, tapi belum diputuskan. Nah, hal-hal seperti ini yang memang kita harus benar-benar mempersiapkan kita punya tim muda untuk secara berkelanjutan dan tentu secara kontinu. Itu yang kita harapkan.
Jawab. Ada pertanyaan lain dari teman-teman media? Ya Mas, silakan.
AC-nya sejuk jadi agak ngantuk sih.
Halo, selamat sore, saya Diego dari CNN Indonesia TV. Ciao Raja, I would like to ask you about the youth development in Belgium. Belgium was not known previously as a powerhouse in football. What kind of changes do you see that took place back then that allowed talents such as yourself to flourish? Thank you.
No, it's about talking about how you grow up. I think in Belgium there's a lot of talent, but the difference between a country as Belgium is it started slowly. Till 20 years ago, Belgium was just a small team, as a national team as well. Then the young talents came up, and I think the ages around my age was the upcoming generation, and yeah, we had good results. There were a lot of talented players that played for big teams all around the world, and that gave us good results. And there's a time of coming and a time of going, and now at this moment, a lot of players are quitting the national team, and it becomes difficult. But yeah, it's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of I don't know, of how many possibilities you have to show yourself, you know. And Belgium is an easy country, it's well placed, and it's easy to get there. And I think this is a big part of easy scouting, you know, because like if we talk about Indonesian football, it's far away. Who wants to go to Indonesia? Who wants to take players from Indonesia? And in Belgium, it was all more easier. So I think this is one of the difficulties as well.
Question, Mas mungkin. Nah, dari informasi buat teman-teman media tadi pagi, agenda pertama Raja yang sudah dilakukan menyambung tadi arahan dari Pak Erik. Tadi pagi kita lakukan coaching clinic. Jadi memang sengaja kita dedicate tadi pagi cukup lama Raja kepanasan. Pertama kalinya nyentuh lapangan bola selama di Jakarta. Jadi bolak-balik dari nyiram kakinya pakai krim panas dulu ya, padahal dari krim matahari Pak lumayan banyak awalnya. Tapi dari pagi ada sekitar 30 anak yang kita lakukan coaching clinic di Brilliant Stadium bersama Raja Nainggolan. Nanti kita akan lakukan lagi tanggal 14 karena memang ini bagian dari kita mau inspire talenta-talenta muda di Indonesia. Gitu. Mungkin pertanyaan berikutnya dari
Selamat sore Bapak-Bapak. Saya Nof dari Antara Pak. Mau nanya ke Pak Erik. Pak Erik boleh cerita ya, mulai ngedeketin Raja dan Sabrina tuh sejak kapan gitu untuk promote Academy Under 17 ini? Terus kemudian apakah ada kesulitan gitu dalam mendekati mereka? Maksudnya kan Raja mungkin juga ada schedule pada segala macam itu dan lain-lain. Terima kasih Pak.
Ya memang kebetulan di U17 ini FIFA tidak terlalu ketat ya dalam kita mencoba mengeksplorasi sebagai LOC atau sebagai tuan rumah untuk improvisasi. Nah memang waktu itu kepikirnya apakah kita mempromosikan dengan public figure di luar sepak bola atau kita kembali ke root kita yaitu sepak bola. Lalu juga pertanyaannya apakah dari luar negeri atau yang ada hubungan darah dengan kita. Nah dari pada diskusi waktu itu kami di panitia lokal ada memutusin ya kita kembali ke root yaitu sepak bola. Lalu kita juga mencari alternatif, tentu pasti maunya sepasang ya. Nanti kalau nggak laki-laki. Jadi kita cari ada perempuan dan laki. Dan kita lihat juga figurnya cocok, makanya kita coba mengangkat Raja dan Sabrina waktu itu. Dan kebetulan ya slotnya bisa temu. Dan makanya mereka komit dalam mendorong tadi bukan hanya U17 tapi bagaimana juga mendorong persepak bola Indonesia ke depan gitu. Dengan tentu kita melakukan hal-hal fokus kepada youth team atau academy yang bisa kita eksplor mereka di masa depan kita. Pendekatannya ya beberapa bulan setelah FIFA memberikan kebebasan kepada kita. Karena kalau tidak juga kan tidak mungkin kita bisa membawa Raja atau Sabrina menjadi bagian dari tadi kepanitiaan untuk Indonesia.
Oke Mas, ada lagi mungkin satu dua pertanyaan yang Mas dulunya.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Reski from Steve Today. I have a questions for Mr. Eckler and also Sabrina and Raja. For Mr. Eckler here, so we can see that you are trying to boost the youth development for Indonesia football players from youngsters. Can you tell us about your blueprint or your future map for these youngsters, maybe to compete in the World Cup later on? And for Sabrina and also Raja, if you recall when you were 17 years old, so what do you think?
She's 17, no?
Sorry, you were so. Well, maybe you can give. Maybe you can give a advice, or maybe what do you think it will be needed for the youngsters in order to level up, because the rules have changed and the football, maybe some of them already changed. Thank you.
Yeah, the difficulties at that age, I had a lot of difficulties because for me, it was going to another country. It's not easy, but mentally I was strong enough. I was convinced what I wanted, and that's even an issue for a lot of, I think, Indonesian guys that maybe can go outside of Indonesia, but it's difficult because it's not always easy to go somewhere. Maybe the family's against it, you know. You need even the support of everyone around you. And I was with my agent at that time that took me to Italy, and I'm still with him because he's like a second father for me. And yeah, I felt loved of the persons that were around me, and they were fully behind my choice. And I think the strength of me personally was that I wanted to become the best player in the world. That was something that in my mind, maybe I'm not the best player in the world, but it was something that pushed me to become always better. And yeah, that's the only thing I can say for those young guys. If you need to take some risks, you need to take it if you really want it, because otherwise, they always say the train passes just one time, and if you don't get on it, it can be the last one that passes. So that's the only thing I can say.
For me, the difficulties were definitely, I had to play with boys when I was younger, so definitely keeping up with the boys and being able to communicate, not only because obviously the skill set is different from men and women's, so definitely consistency to improve, lots of trainings, and since I hear there's lots of youth programs for younger kids to grow, and basically just go after what you want and don't stop believing, and keep fighting for what you believe in.
From my side, actually, what we are preparing is beyond World Cup U17. I think U17 for Indonesia is something special, but at the end, cannot be just one-time event. This is a time for us to transform our football, especially starting on the youth side. I did mention before, especially there is I would say rumors and news, let's see, will be the fact in the future that FIFA, we are going to have U17 World Cup every year as a tournament starting 2026. So then, because of that strategy, I think it's applicable for us in Indonesia. Of course, we not compare us to Belgium because they have already grassroots from the football, but it's just starting transform. Also, we have a big populations and also young demography at this moment. So this is why this U17 World Cup tournaments that we want to really start investing on the youth development, not only the national teams, also on the clubs, and also in early young competitions under the PSSI. So this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the league will be already starting Elite Pro Academy this year, starting September 16, 18, and 20. At the same time, our national teams right now are already preparing our U14s. And then this U17, we are preparing for at the same time for U20 World Cup 2025. Of course, we're proud also to our U20 team and U22 and U23, which is the fact right now. I think we have one of the best talent ever for Indonesia when we're talking about our U23 teams. This is why I think this is the first time that Indonesia U23 teams has been qualified for Asia tournaments in Qatar. But if you look at the age of them, most of them is not U23. Marcelino is I think he's 19. Elkan is 21. And then Rido also still 21. So many of the starters of the U23, the fact is younger than U23. So this is something that we want to invest in. At the same time, as the federation also, we are pushing a lot of young tournaments. I think on the women's side, I think we signed with one of the private sector. Now we're creating grassroots tournaments for young women. At the same time, for the young men, boys and girls, I think we are already preparing some of the circumstances on the events. Not only that, as you know, the government is renovating almost 22 stadiums as the international standard. This is something that investing their time at this moment. So I think we're optimists with having a U17 also is boosting also our youth development in Indonesia.
Mungkin ada pertanyaan lain, pakai bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa, nanti kita translate kalau ada pertanyaan kita aja dari ada lagi mungkin? Ya, silakan.
Halo, nama saya Yara dari Antara TV. Pertanyaan saya untuk Raja dan juga Sabrina. Maybe you already shared a little bit of your struggles, but maybe can you share some words of encouragement to the young people of Indonesia who wants to pursue football professionally, and maybe for Sabrina particularly, how they can persevere in a male-dominated type of field, and perhaps what can an association like PSSI can do more to encourage more women football players? Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the question. I think to motivate people is definitely stick to it. If you choose to play football, you have to stay by it, because it's not only just a half thing. You have to definitely train. You can't get much holidays. You can't enjoy as much. Obviously, you're an athlete. You have to sleep at a certain time. You have to take care of your food as well and what you eat and put into your body so that you consume. And obviously, your outcome of playing into the game is also good. And definitely, mental health does come into factor with this, because you are training, and it's basically the same thing every single day, where you have to put in the work, you have to be motivated. Some days you wake up and you don't feel like training, but you have to train. So it's definitely, you have to have a strong mentality, you have to go all in, there's no halves. You have to definitely keep training, keep working hard, and definitely go for what you want to go and reach as high as you can, because if you do half-half, there's definitely no going back. Yeah, thank you.
Can you repeat my question, please?
Just saying, words of encouragement for the young people in Indonesia who wants to pursue basketball professionally. It's a very competitive sport, I think, in Indonesia. It's very popular.
Yeah, what can I say? It's like I said before, I think the only thing is believing what you want to do. You have to give it all, and you need a little bit of luck as well. I think like Mr. Tori was saying before, they are investing, they are trying to push it all to a better level. It takes time, because it's not from 0 to 100 in a few years. It needs time, and yeah, altogether I think it's on its good way, and we will see what the future brings. I think honestly that things are developing in a good way. Like I said, it's not easy to get accepted to organize a World Cup. That means already a lot, I think. And yeah, it started always with something. But for the young guys, the only thing I can say is believe and chase your dreams. Even if it will not happen, we can still become something even later than a younger age.
Bahasa kalau mau, enggak cukup. Mengenai persiapan apa semua nggak ada? Asli mau doorstop. Itu.
Ya, sore Pak, Taufik dari Karajuan. Soal persiapan ya Pak ya. Izin Pak, sebentar lagi kan Piala Dunia udah mau digelar. Kalau misalnya di Surabaya Opening, lalu di tempat lain, Bandung, Solo, Jakarta, ketika mendekati ketika hari pertandingan itu apa ada acara pendukung lainnya Pak? Satu, kalau yang kedua kesiapan venue-venue menjelang Piala Dunia bagaimana Pak? Khususnya JIS. Terima kasih.
Venue seperti yang FIFA bilang ada 27 lapangan pertandingan maupun latihan. Dari 27 ini FIFA sudah cek semua, di mana FIFA happy dengan preparationsnya. Gelora Bung Tomo saya rasa sebagai pembukaan kalian akan lihat tanggal 10, mungkin akan surprise ya. Apalagi sekarang FIFA punya equipment sudah masuk LED semua. Kemarin saya dapat laporan panggung buat opening juga udah mulai di set up LED, akan sesuatu yang menarik. Untuk JIS saya rasa kita fokus di akses ya. Kalau mengenai infrastruktur terutama rumput sudah tuntas kemarin ya, dan itu kita memindahkan 2 lapangan rumput dari teman-teman private sector waktu itu ditolong. Saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Lipo Group dan Dewa United yang bisa bantu rumput itu, dan sudah dipasang dan sudah bagus sekarang. Akses penonton saya rasa yang dibangun pemerintah untuk penyeberangan dari JIS ke Ancol sudah jadi juga, jadi itu mengurangi untuk orang bisa parkir di Ancol ya, dan Ancol itu lapangan parkir banyak sekali, jadi cukup lah gitu. Untuk di Bandung dan Solo saya belum ada informasi apa-apa ya. Kemarin di Bandung sempat aja hujan gede, jadi ada beberapa kerusakan tapi sudah diperbaiki. Lapangan juga tidak ada masalah ya, tinggal nanti aja gimana pertandingan ini. Saya rasa klub-klub para negara-negara yang hadir kemarin saya cek belum ada problem ya, jadi semuanya happy sama fasilitas hotel, jarak tempuh, lapangan, transportasi semua positif. Dan besok malam saya tanggal 9 ada dinner khusus dengan Presiden FIFA untuk juga review akhir kalau memang ada masukan dari top levelnya FIFA langsung ke saya. Jadi so far so good. Oke, cukup?
Pak, yang acara pendukung Pak? Acara pendukung di 3 stadion Pak, kan kalau di Surabaya kan opening. Di tempat lain ada acara pendukung nggak sih Pak di hari
semua stadion ada acara pendukung ya. Di situ ada pameran daripada sponsor FIFA, ada makan-makan juga ya, ada juga musik-musik festival, ada semua di semua stadion. Kita lakukan event di sana ya. Jadi karena jeda waktu yang hampir 2 jam kita harus isi juga supaya penonton bisa ini. Yang lainnya saya rasa ongoing semua kita lihat aja nanti. Ya. Cukup? Oke, thank you. Foto. Oke, foto.
Bertiga. Sini Bang ya. Sini aja aja.
Hah? Pak.
Bang. Dapat. Mundur lagi. Oke.
Yeah. Put your hand here. Put your hand here. Okay, all the TV. The TV on the back. Right, media. Left. Back to television again. Okay. Thank you.